Hey guys, this is Lagbug here. So today we're going to go through a 23 Halls of Atonement. So in this video I'm going to go through why I do the things that I do and analyze any potential mistakes or things that we could have done better. So we're just going to start the video and I will freely talk over what is happening. So start of the pull, put down the, before you put the key in, we always pre-pot with a potion of prolonged power. It's a 1 minute potion. So we're going to dot the ad and we're going to use a penance to spread the dot, maybe throw out a couple more dots and then PI the mage for his combustion. I'm just going to radiance here for any random damage, and when they're all grouped up we're about to mind seer. Yep, and there we go. So we're going to top up Grievous. So in Grievous week you want to stay ahead of Grievous, because if you let Grievous get out of hand it's going to be extremely difficult for you as a healer to top it up. So there I knocked the bears into the ranged mobs for extra cleave for my DPS.
I mean, they had to be facing over.
Just going on with our damage rotation. So as you can see right now, mana's looking pretty good. We've got about 40k mana almost. So my tank runs off here, and my druid has 1 stack of Grievous. What I'm probably going to do is probably try to top my tank first, and then get my druid out of Grievous, and there you go. And then I'm going to ask for an innovate to stay ahead on mana, get the rogue's Grievous off, and then just start bombing Shadowmans into the tank with a pain sup, because this pack is very, very dangerous for Demon Hunter tanks. So you can see he's got meta. He's also got a lot of fury as well, or pain, whatever it's called. I think it's called pain for vengeance DH, but you can still see he's taking a big beating. So what I'm going to look for here is, if I need to go knock mobs out with Shining Force, I'll go do that. But however, we have a Boomy that's also pre-positioned for that. So right now I'm just focusing on keeping the tank alive. So Twist of Fate proc with Shadowmans, if you crit, you can do a significant amount of healing. So we know that the only person taking damage right now is going to be the tank. So we're dropping the Sanguine pulls in, we chain in the Houndmaster. So this mob does some random shoots here, so have to be ready for any random damage such as this rapid fire.
I think I missed 1 PI before, and yeah, it did feel like
So we're saving PI for the Gargons, or sorry, the Gargoyles, so that we can use Gargoyles and kill the Prides much quicker. Because Power Infusion scales with the Gargon's attack speed. So once this mob is finished, Pride should spawn. We're about to go grab the Gargoyle. So here we MC it, and then we're going to Power Infusion it. So healing Pride on Grievous week, you want to stay ahead, just like any other. So here I'm just going to be using a Rapture to keep my team alive. So it's going to absorb most of the damage from the Prideful, and as you can see, the Gargoyle is killing the Prideful almost by itself. The Mage has held Combust as well, so the Mage can use Combust into this next pull here. So in this next pull we have a Shard, 2 Casters, and a Collector. So you want to max range the Shard when he uses Thrash. It's not that feasible in high keys to try heal through it. So as you can see here, I'm standing out of range here for the Thrash. The Thrash will only hit the melee. The Mage pops alter time here, so I'm not too worried about him. So here I'm going to dig my rogue out of Grievous. So here the tank's in a little bit of trouble, but we're not too worried. We want to get the Grievous out. So now we're just going to max range again. We're going to dispel the rogue here. He procs cheat death. We use a defensive penance on the rogue here because that would be the only way to save him. So here we're going to pull in the smallies. So what we're going to be careful is dropping Sanguine on the big shard. So I think we're going to kill the shard first before we kill the smalls. Just using Shadowman to top off my tank, but unfortunately the rogue ends up going down in like 3 ticks. Once again, max ranging, equip the rogue to come back in, topping up his Grievous if he gets it.
I have a lot on my hands sometimes when that shit happens. But I'm trying to.
So we can see the mage is combust available. So the next pull is most likely going to be a mage combust. I think this next pull is going to be a decently sized pull into Prideful, but we're going to be using the gargoyles to kill the Prideful again. This time I think I'm going to be saving my PI.
Alright, I'm not PI equity behind the guard, right?
So we're just going to get a drink here while the tank rounds out the mobs here. So anytime you drop combat and the tank's going to round up some mobs, good time to drink. So always trying to stay ahead on mana. Dot the mobs a couple times here. Since there's not much damage, we can use mines here when they're all grouped up. Rogue gets one shot. It's not really our fault. And unfortunate. So you can see the mage pop combust here, but we're not going to PI this combust. Like I said before, we're going to be saving PI for the gargoyle to solve the Prideful. It'll be much more value. So we're trying to just kill the 2 ranged mobs first, because what typically happens on Sanguine Week is the melee mobs die and the ranged mobs end up being stuck in Sanguine, and it's going to be a lot more difficult to save time like that. So we kill the ranged mobs and now we only need to worry about the melee mobs, whose paths are way more predictable. So we want to kill the back 2 mobs, which are the Dark Blades, and then hopefully kill the smallies at the same time too. So I'm about to get ready to knock here. My Bimmy does that for me. If this dies and stands in Sanguine, I will also knock. Doesn't look like we need to. So you can see my mana is already like 20k mana. We've got a gargoyle coming in. I'm going to mind control that because I'm bent there. And then give power infusion to it so it can solo it. Unfortunately, I think I mouse over the Shadow Fiend. Yeah, the Shadow Fiend got the PI. So we're not going to use Rapture for anything else here, so we're just going to send it on the Pridefuls to stay ahead. But yeah, as you can see, the Gargoyle is absolutely destroying the Prideful. Mage doesn't pop Combust. Boomy's got Celestial Alignment with Convoke later for the next pull, I think. So here we have a Paint Sap available, but we don't think we're going to need to use it here. We also have a Barrier. So here I get a Bolt here, just going to use a Defensive Penance to top myself here. So once again, on the shards, we're going to max range the shards so we don't take unnecessary damage. If the rogue gets the dot, we just dip in to dispel him. Use a defensive penance on him so that we can top him up here. If we tried to go for a Shadowman, he may have died. So that's why we have to be quick with the spot healing with penance and Shadowman. So once again, I'm trying to reposition myself. Max range. So I am max range here. So he's got a twist proc. When you have a twist proc, it's very good to spot heal people with Shadowmans because you get 20% extra healing and 20% extra damage. So it's going to increase your atonement healing and your actual direct healing as well. Once again, max ranging. Mage takes a couple ticks. We're gonna give him a little bit of help here. The rogue also takes a lot of damage because he's melee. He has to stay in for DPS. Dodge. So once again, digging the rogue out of Grievous. Even though it's just 1 stack, we want to get that Grievous off as soon as possible, or else that's going to become a 2 stack and then 3, etc. So we have PI now. I think the next pull is also going to proc a a prideful, and we might also be saving that PI. So most of our PI so far have been saved for gargoyles to kill prides. It is a significant amount of DPS on the gargoyles to give power infusion to them, because it benefits from your haste, and then it has its actual 25% buff as well from the power infusion.
What do we do with it?
So my tank accidentally ninja pulls the gargoyle. That's okay. We're just gonna have to heal through it. So this pull after this, I think, is going to be the boss. So I think we can use a pain sub here if we want to, but so far the tank has meta, so we haven't pressed it yet. So okay, I'll send a PI with the mage's combust here. I think just to kill the pack fast, because there's a gargoyle up as well. It's going to be pretty rough later if these things don't die instantly. So we're just gonna mind control the gargoyle by itself for the prideful, and it should be okay.
I'll try and knock it.
So the beam is in position for a knock if something happens with Sanguine.
It's just really weird how this one dark thing plays so much longer than the other one.
So we're just going to focus the high HP mob, just so it dies at the same time as all the other mobs. So nice job by the Boomy, he knocks it out of Sanguine. I'm going to knock it out as well.
What do you mean for the thingy?
Dig the tank out of Grievous, and then I'm going to get myself out of Grievous as well. I just commit to the cast for the Stoneborn Gargoyle. Yep, somebody seems to have dropped something. But hey, you can see the autos that the Gargoyle's doing, like 31k non-crits. This prideful is getting absolutely blasted by a single Gargoyle. So we're just going to Rapture here, just to stay a bit healthy. So trying not to get any Grievous stacks. 1 or 2 stacks is okay, but 3 or 4 on all party members is not. So let's see what we have available. We have a barrier, and we're going to go down to, I think, the next shard. Okay, so we didn't go bust. So just going to go to the next shard. It looks like here we're going to maybe prioritize the casters first, then the shard. So we decurse here. So since I have a prideful buff and a twist of fate proc, I can just heal through this with just atonements and a lot of DPS. So the mage presses alter time there, we don't have to worry about him that much. So yeah, we do kill the casters first, and then we just kill the Hokais. Once again, max ranging to Thrash. The rogue evasions this, so he doesn't take any damage, which is really good. He doesn't really need to evasion anything else, so it's a good time to use evasion if you're rogue on the Thrashes. So this pack here does a moderate amount of damage. So trees have been popped already, so I don't really need to worry a whole lot. So we're just gonna spot heal whoever gets Grievous stacks. So I opt to use Mind Games on cooldown here for damage and dig the rogue out of Grievous. Rogue cheat deaths here, but that's okay. I don't know what that levitate was. So spot healing whatever the Houndmaster shoots, so it's going to be not enough healing just by atonement, so we're actually going to have to start using Shadowmen. So dig out the mage first, and then the rogue, and then spot heal my tank a little bit. So what I'm thinking right now, I think at this time, is as soon as this pull finishes, I am going to drink straight away. Because I'm at 26k mana-ish. Oh no, wait, just go for a meld drink instead, so the tank can go straight away and pull. So meld drops combat, and you drink straight away. So I'm about 40k mana now. I can stand up, 43k mana, we're super good on mana now. And then we just MC it, and then we give power infusion to the Gargoyle. That will increase its damage, so you can see the meters right now. And that I'm probably going to fly up to maybe like 13, 14
Big healing.
KDPS.
Yeah, it actually was.
Okay, so we've broken 17k DPS. So the boss is very easy. Don't want to be standing on the tank if you're a melee, because he does a stomp that is AoE, and you will also get cleaved by it as well. So we took a tick of that, unfortunate. So right now I'm just trying to use penance to reposition myself, because you can cast or moving penance. Unfortunately the mage also gets hit as well. Just use a shield on him because it's the only thing we could have casted there. He did take a little bit extra damage, but that's fine because he didn't proc court. So we're just going to use Smite here instead of Shadowmending the mage, because he was at like 88% HP, so we could have easily healed him through Atonement to proc off, to top off the Grievous. Just going with your regular DPS rotation, so you want to always have the boss dotted up, and then Penance on cooldown, Mind Games on cooldown, and Mind Blast on cooldown, and then Solace, and then Smite.
The boss started moving very fast. And I just maxed it.
So I'll probably try to Mind Games the next slam.
Like, I just didn't think the boss ran that fast.
Unfortunately it's a bit late, but it's okay. My DH parried it, I think. He didn't take that much damage.
Oh, 4K, we broke the crowd. Oh,
So yeah, you can see by the end of this pool, I've done 6k DPS, and probably like 80% of that is from the gargoyle with PI. So that's going to be a lot more than giving PI to the mage on his combust, because it's fortified. So the fortified gargoyles actually scale. So you probably won't be power infusioning the gargoyles on tyrannical weeks or in low keys, because it scales with the key level. So this is a 23 fortified, so this is going to do a lot of damage if we get that off. So we just pull this pack here to proc Prideful, so we're at 77%. And what we plan to do here is I have PI available again. I'm not going to PI the mage, but we're going to PI the Stoneborn again for the Prideful. So keeping the mobs dotted up, using penance. On 2 targets you also use Mind Seer as well, instead of Smite. So the mage pops Combust here, so he should get it back before we go to the boss, or just as we hit the boss. So this is the Shroud pull after, so we're going to mind control the gargoyle here, and then dot the Prideful, wait for it to stand still so we can mouse over PI it. There we go. Just use Radiance here, Mind Blast, and then try to top people up using Atonements, because the beginning of Prideful is not that much damage.
Yeah, don't stand on the
Use our second Radiance charge here, and then Mind Games.
Oh,
So I think right now I don't even use Rapture, do I?
Equi's one is if I just press the button, it's no modifier with PI.
I don't think I use Rapture here, so we're just going to top ourselves up here before we go.
Grievous, yeah.
So topping Grievous up before we go into the Shroud, because if Grievous ticks during Shroud, it will break you out of Shroud.
Coming now.
So Shroud past these, straight into boss.
I'm gonna use anti-rape form. I want to get raped.
Oh.
So here we're holding, I think, Rapture, so I bait the blood out of melee. So here we use a Rapture. So when these adds die, they do a significant amount of damage in high keys. So if you have no cooldowns going into this, you're going to be in a lot of trouble if the adds die. So we get a twist proc, very useful in helping us top out our team, redot the boss obviously. So for the next set of ads, I'm probably thinking of either Barrier or a Twist of Fate with a Mind Games. Mind Games is really nice when it crits when you have 5 atonements out. Okay, so let's see what we do here. So the mage is going to decurse himself, he's going to blink, no need to worry. So we're going to PI our mage here. I know he wants to combust. in a couple of seconds, and there it is. My my add-on tells me he just pressed combust. So the mage pressed alter time too. We don't have to worry about him. So as you can see, we took that much damage in one barrier, and the barrier is a significant amount of DR. I think it's about 25%. So we move out of the DH's circle. He gets stickers, so he's going to jump away, and the ad should die here. So I think right now I'm going to get the rogue out of Grievous. Yep, rogue's out of Grievous. Going on with our regular DPS rotation. So I have Rapture coming back up, so it's a nice time to use Rapture for the next set of ads. So yeah, I do use Rapture here. That's a crit shield on the rogue. It's extremely big, and as you can see, he just gets eaten up almost straight away. So we move out of the way here. So since there are 5 injured players, we use a Radiance with a Twist proc, and then Mind Games is going to top off 2 of those people, and then we're just going to use a spot heal penance to get the mage up as well. So right now we're going to ignore the ads here. We're just going to burn the boss regardless of who gets the leap. And the boss dies. So in this next pool there is going to be a lot of tank damage, and also a lot of random damage from the shoots from the Houndmasters. So what do we have available? We have a Power Vision up in about 10 seconds. The mage presses combust. Unfortunately we can't catch it. Just going to spot heal the rogue out of Grievous. So I think we just send the PI here just to keep it on cooldown so the mage gets his combust faster. And then PI the Stoneborn, I think, after. That could be a mistake. Maybe it was better to hold. So Twist of Fate proc with 5 Atonements out with Mind Games. A very, very big healing. I asked for an Innovate here to stay ahead of mana, because there's going to be a lot of Shadowman spot healing in that pool. So my DH kites out of the room. He has no mitigation available left. He's got no meta. His spikes is about to recharge. So my DH is very, very experienced at kiting and knowing when he needs to run. So this is why we haven't pressed paints up all that much. So usually I press paints up when I need to, or if he thinks he needs it. So we kind of delegate paints up to each other. So if the DH thinks he's gonna die, he'll probably tell me to paints up him. If I think he's gonna die, I'm also gonna press it anyway, but so far it's been really, really chill.
LPS up, your meta's done.
Okay, so his Spell Devastation procs meta. So I tell him I'm gonna give him a paints up afterwards, because we're not going to need paints up within the next 3 minutes to get the rogue out of Grievous. So DH is not taking that much down. We can use Minds here for DPS. And now he is. I think we spot healing with the penance there to try to keep him up. Trees have gone down. I'm a bit late with the dispel here on the Druid. So I should just be dispelling that first global straight away. That's something that we can do better for next time. Just using Mind Games on CD for the damage. It's better just to use it than hold it.
Yup, definitely need to skip the pride.
Right, so here's a trick that you can do to double mind control the gargoyles. What you do is you spam your extra action bar, and there's like 0.1, 0.2 seconds of being able to recast, and that's how you get a second gargoyle. So here, same thing with PI, the gargoyle. As you can see, this boss is actually getting completely destroyed with the autos. You can see those orange autos. There's a 59k crit auto there. So this boss is actually melting. It doesn't show up on details because details is a little bit bugged sometimes with gargoyles. So if you mind control gargoyles in combat, it won't show up in details, but if you're not in combat, then it will show up in details. So get the rogue out of Grievous. He's at like 88%, so we just use a powered shield and let the atonement top him up with damage. So this boss is pretty simple. Just stay near one of the urns when the ghost comes up. When the ghost touches the urn, it disappears. So multiple players are taking damage here. So we go for a radiance into damage, and that will top up the Grievous. So also our mana's looking pretty good here. We have about 35k. So since we're gonna skip the next Prideful with an Invis part, which I'll get to shortly.
I mean, if we should just do what he did last time. And then
Topping up with Atonement here. There's not that much damage going up on this boss.
when Flippy, like when anyone's done with theirs, they can.
Using Penance to reposition myself.
Which one's yours?
I do back left.
Back left. Okay.
There's,
Left is the
yeah, the one that died last. I threw some stuff.
So here I think I might PI one of the DPS so they can DPS their side of the room quickly, or I might be holding it. I think I send the PI. So we're just going to get a quick sip of mana here. We want to be full mana at the start of this. So we're going to PI the mage on his combust. So we're trying to keep an atonement on the tank at all times. Just using mines here for maximum AoE damage. We should be topping up the Grievous on the rogue right now with Shadow Mend. Yep, and we guess we do Shadow Mend. Yep, there we go. We knock those adds away from us so that we don't take unnecessary damage while we cast.
It doesn't cancel.
So here you can see Atonement is not enough to top up people, so you're going to have to resort to Shadow Mend. So I should be Shadow Mending the Druid about now. Yep, there we go. The Druid's still not top, so we're still going to keep having to Shadow Mend him till he gets full health. Alright, now everyone's topped. So the only person that should take damage now, since no ads, is the tank. So what we're about to do is, when this big mob dies, it's going to spawn a Prideful. And we're going to instantly press our Invis potion and skip the Prideful. So the mage here fucked up. He used the potion on the previous boss, but mage Invis also works the same way as Invis pot. So we're gonna play the Prideful on a far side of the room. So we're all gonna stack pretty far in, I think. So we're gonna get a roar here. I top off the tank here, and then we run Invis pot. And the Pride is just going to AFK there. We turn the camera just to check. We have enough mana for the boss. And we have last time we're going straight in, I think. So I think we might be holding lust for cooldowns, yeah? Which is fine, just go on with your regular single target rotation, always keeping Atonement on the tank. That's a frontal, that's not on us, we don't need to worry. That's a frontal on us here with the, sorry, that's a statue going to us here. So here I think I accidentally cook my PI here. I should have given PI to the mage when he had combust, but I think I was distracted with something.
You only get one CD anyway, right?
Yeah, I only get one CD.
I'd probably 5 as well.
Frontal.
But we do have 2 minutes, so it's better to use a PI again later.
You just hold for me. There's no point in you going until I go.
Okay, so I think the rogue here is going to double soak this with the tank. So only 2 players take damage, so he's going to cloak first. I'm just going to keep DPSing, and once his cloak finishes, I think I'm going to rapture him. Well, actually, I just spot heal him, I think. Yeah. So we get a twist proc, very, very good for healing with Shadow Mend. So this next one, I think we're going to use almost all of our defensive CDs. There's only 2 of these rituals on this boss, so after 2 are done, you don't have to worry too much. So I'm just going to Rapture and Barrier and Paints Up the Rogue here. He's not going to take that much damage at all. You can see nobody's health is moving.
Rapture shields.
Using Mind Games, Atonement Transfer to top up the Rogue. We're just going to move anyway from statues. Sometimes statues might not look like they're looking at you, but then it's just better to move and just live. Sometimes you think you're safe, but then you're not. So around here, not much damage left. It's just going to be a dot and a couple frontals, but no more rituals. So we just PI the mage again here for his combust. That comes back up. And we just finish the boss here, and the dot still stays after the dungeon, so just make sure you keep your tank up. So you see with the gargoyles here, we did about 2.2k overall. Sorry, 2.2k overall, and that's not including some of the pools where the gargoyles didn't count to the meters. So you could probably add on about, maybe to be generous, maybe 200, 300 DPS with gargoyles. So Venti is extremely strong in Halls of Atonement. So yeah, so thanks for watching my video. If there's anything that you think I could have done better, I'd like to see it in the comments below. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys next time.